I gotta check everything.
All right, good evening. Rob's out talking, having a drink. He found a friend out there. So I was looking to make sure our speaker didn't duck and roll on us, but he just knew he had friends. He had friends. Well, yeah, that's true. He's not going to duck and roll like this. Otherwise, Jim's going to have the best auction ever. Welcome to the October club meeting, Salmon Unlimited. Start out as usual. Oh, I know why. Shit. There we go. Anyone over the sunshine or any, obviously we're missing Mary Lee. She took a tumble, broke her wrist. If any of you haven't heard, she is mending. But I offered to give her a ride today, but she said she's resting up. She's going to make sure that she's there Saturday to help be involved with the Weird A. So beyond Mary Lee, keeping in mind anyone else, Dale Hudak is also, he just came out of surgery yesterday. He's back up and at it. He was down in Rockford for something today. He may make it here late, or he may just log on online, but he also is recovering. Yeah, that's what he was hoping for.
Do you know if you guys got enough?
Jeff, are you guys, I know with Mary Lee, she had a couple of the veterans coming. I got a couple scouts that I relayed to her that should be coming Saturday for help. Are you guys feeling pretty confident about what you've got for coverage, or?
A few people at the kids casting.
Yeah. That's what I think I got supplemented for you with scouts yesterday. I got 2 scouts and 2 parents that said they would come and help with that.
Yeah, if we want to help out, Greg's explaining the charter, or not charter boat, but a fishing boat.
Rigging,
how you run everything, blah, blah, blah.
He brings his boat down and then somebody can do a demonstration or talk about what each of the pieces are and how they work.
And behind the counter, break some people take breaks.
Yeah. So
setup's real important in the morning, just some help too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is that I think that's honestly oftentimes the biggest thing you need help is the setup and breakdown.
But if someone had an extra truck, I got my boat trailer and I got the trailer to take down yet on that day. Otherwise, I gotta run there at 6, 7 in the morning and then bring my boat later.
I won't be here, but I have an extra truck and I would trust tossing my keys to certain people if somebody needed to drive it.
I might have somebody, he just had surgery.
Certain people, not all people.
That counts me out.
Dale also had surgery.
Yeah, I know, Dale.
What time would you want general volunteers like him?
Pardon me?
What time would you want like people that are offering volunteer there?
Yeah.
I'll be down there at 7:30 at my first run.
Is that when you want people there?
If they want, yeah, there's quite a bit to get set up and
7:30, 8 o'clock. And everything.
But it's gotta be ready by 9, coffee and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I gotta work, but yeah.
I plan to at least have something there and ready to get going at 7:30.
Okay.
I'll open up the weir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the DNR team will be down there too, so they might even, I don't know that they'll open the doors, but they'll be setting up themselves.
I'll clean the windows too.
There is one other one, if the DNR could use some help on Friday. Just zip tying the fences up, somebody else will drive the stakes in.
Okay,
There was in one of our meetings, someone said they might have a hammer drill of some sort.
Andy,
Did anyone get hold of them?
T driver from work.
Did anyone get hold of them?
Yeah, he's right over there.
Oh. Do you have any driver for driving fence posts in, the metal ones?
Oh, you mean for, yeah, I got some powder.
Huh?
I'll bring the powder.
I'll need it on Friday
Okay, I'll bring it.
somehow. Jingle me.
do you have his
Is that
number?
electric or hand?
He's got my number.
Okay,
I got his number now.
excellent.
Andy, is that electric or
No,
hand?
it's can't, we don't play around. Yes.
Yeah. All right,
But what's it, did he say it was gas?
gas powered.
Yeah, it's gas powered.
Okay.
I'll get it in there.
All right, so it sounds like we got enough help for that. I appreciate it. Just peace of mind for the people who put that together. Membership, Mike. I don't think, well, I know Rob was talking He said he was gonna renew up here.
All right,
Now Mike's got a bullseye on your head.
our membership is pretty stable right now, just under 200 members. But I wanted to, you guys kind of hit on some of the things I was gonna say, you know, and I'm probably talking to the choir right now, but being a member means getting involved more than just coming out and fishing and having a card in your pocket, okay? So the Weir Day, yesterday, I know Jeff was still looking for help. Sounds like he's got some of that taken care of. I know that Jim is looking for members to join the committee for Samarama for next year. And there's always something that you can get involved in if you've got some time and some energy and some great ideas. We need our members to step up and help out. And you know, a lot of the members sign up basically to get into the jackpot series. So if you've got people fishing on your boat with you that are in jackpot, but that's all the only time we ever see them. Get them to come to some meetings, get them to come to some of the events, have them get involved. It's a great club. And it's even better once you get involved and help it grow.
Well, thank you. Get Rob up before he leaves today.
New memberships in January.
Yeah. Yeah. This is something we'll have to talk about as a board, because I heard you ask the same thing, Jim. You know, when we get to this point for late signups, I feel like it needs to be able to carry forward to the future year. You know, jackpot seems to be a spur item for us to grow memberships, and now that we're finished with the jackpot season, there should be some acknowledgement about carrying over at this point, like later in the year. But
One thing we just started is this year, the last 2 months,
Mhm.
anybody that wants a free membership, sign them up,
To get them through the end of the year.
get them to the end of the year. Let them know what the meetings are about, what your emails are about, give them a taste of what's going on.
I saw you put that out there. You're trying to
Yeah.
get 6 to cross. They have
Yeah, we're
400
gonna be at
members.
400, we're gonna make the 400 mark.
How
So
many other?
The last 2 months here,
Yeah.
it's a free membership, sign up. Now you're gonna get a membership letter sent to them for renewal.
Yeah.
You hope they're gonna renew, but if they don't, if you send out 20 of them, you got 5, that's 5 more you started off with.
It's a good point. I like that. Thank you. Board nominations. Michelle's not here. I started a list off of the ones from our board meeting, but we've got 6, I think, positions open for board members to take. Some of the people have already been renominated at our board meeting. Bradley, Mary Lee, and Michelle were all renominated. Michelle, though, is looking to step into a traditional role rather than secretary. Part of that is that it'll help her with helping administrate Salmonorama and with some of the bookkeeping stuff that we're working on. At the same time, we also would like to see some new faces, new skill sets in. So, you know, I probed around with a couple and we're looking for nominations amongst you guys, which is why I sent the email out. I was able to reach out to Jason Buckman, and after a little bit of prying, he's accepted a nomination off my recommendation to go on the board. These are only nominations. We'll vote next month, but we're looking for other individuals. I remember hearing another name at our board meeting, I thought.
Mary Lee said she accepts,
Okay,
and Jerry,
that's who it was.
I never pronounce his name.
Constability?
You
Yeah,
don't want him.
he said he would run for board.
Okay,
I talked to Dale.
And he said he would
that
accept.
he would accept the nomination for secretary.
yeah, and he acknowledged it at our board meeting. He came, he shadowed Michelle. He's looking to take over that secretary role for us. So any other names for nomination at this point? Right now, we've got Michelle, Bradley, Mary Lee, Dale. You said Jerry did accept as well.
Yes,
Dave,
yes.
yeah, okay, you were like, I remember it was you would accept, but you were on the fence of waiting to see about other names or something.
No, I was just.
You're good?
Jerry, who? Yeah, but
Yeah. Constantly,
from Resolute.
resident
Charters.
charters, so. So that's 7 that we'll have on the ballot for next month unless we hear any more up to this point.
How many for board? 6?
Position wise,
Yes.
there are 6 spots available.
How many, we got 7 running, 1 for secretary?
Yeah.
And 6 on the board?
Correct.
Okay. We have a 1-year term to fill.
Yes. We have one-year term that was sitting open.
Let's nail down who that person's going to be.
Okay, prior to the meeting.
We should do it tonight. How that 1-year term gets filled.
Didn't we clarify that at the board meeting, Bob?
Yes, it was the one with the least amount of votes.
Right.
Becomes 1 year.
Okay,
I
I
remember
just want everybody to know.
Oh, good point. Okay, yeah, at least clarifying for the crowd.
You
So
got it.
at the board meeting, we acknowledge that when we do the vote next month, the top 4 vote getters for directors would go into the 2-year terms, which are the 4 up here that are open. And then the 5th vote getter would be the one with the 1-year term, since they're coming in a mid-year or mid-cycle position. And then we'd have 1 out or an alternate, if they would accept it as an alternate position, because we have 2 alternate spots too that frankly, we haven't been able to fill in years past too, so. Anything else on the board side? Any questions from the members? Otherwise, next month will be the vote for that.
Nominations will be accepted next month. Accordingly.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, we can still get them in last minute. Anybody been out fishing? Shore,
Not good.
lake?
I was out today.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I saw your
It
post for like 45 minutes.
was unbelievable. Boom, 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 boom. I had Rob was with me.
Oh, was he?
How deep were you?
About 125 I started, and we never made it past 140.
Okay.
And we only had, I don't know, 3 rods in the water probably.
Lake Trout City.
Lake Trout City. It was.
Schools or flash?
Big paddles was probably the better ones, big paddles. Uncroaked Lake Heat. I caught some stuff on the small chrome stuff, but it was, yeah, I don't think it mattered. There was so many fish there, it was just freaking insane.
Cold?
All trout,
All trout?
all trout.
Okay.
The thing that shocked me was that you said the thermocline was still down at.
That's 100 feet down.
Yeah.
So I had a buddy of mine went out of Pleasant Prairie this afternoon. He went to a 90 foot and it was the same temperature at the top as it was the bottom.
Yeah.
90 foot. 140, it was down 100 foot. Before we found 59 degree water. So that's how much warm water we got stacked up on the field now.
Yeah, still.
He caught 1 brown in 180 foot of water. That's the only fish he caught this afternoon.
There's been virtually no one going out, from the marina.
Wow,
or from the boat.
fucking weather.
Yeah.
Even though we don't have a leaf blowing on the shoreline,
Yeah,
you go past 100 foot, it's 3 to 5. It was like mobiles out there.
Yeah.
I can see it.
You can see it.
Pray for a brutal. Even the guys,
brutal
on
winter
the-
every
even the
week.
guys.
It's supposed to
that
be-
have been
it's supposed to be
going
colder
on the
weather.
shore,
For it to be extra brutal.
Yeah.
Still some burnouts in the harbors.
Yeah. Bradley has commentary from Jackpot still, so this is just carryover on the slides, but he's got some updates. Yeah, his message up. Here we go. Hello, everyone. The committee is currently brainstorming and working toward any changes for 2025 to be announced throughout the winter. Not much else going on at this moment as they're going into the off season. For anyone who wants to make suggestions or comments, please see Dan, Nick, or himself. They're open to comments and adjusting the format. However, we are also moving into fundraising mode for 2025 series, starting with some football pools and strip cards. The main Super Bowl pool would be $25 a square, but they are adjusting it to be 20 potential winners instead of only 4. So instead of doing just the 4 quarterly score crossings, they're actually doing the 4 cross points as well for payouts. So there'll be 20 spots winning instead. In addition, anyone who wants to take a shot at a $500 prize, he has a $60 card per strip for the Super Bowl game as well. And then there's 2 NFC, AFC championship game ones that are on there as well. Obviously, it's early yet, but he'll have those throughout the season here. For more details or to sign up, see him after the meeting, he said.
Got one.
Yeah.
I got beer over there. They're letting go for $30 for 30 Miller Lite. One's mixed with Coors and whatever, and the other one's $10. What brand was that?
Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock, $10 for that, it's almost a 30-pack. So anyone interested, go over there and take care of it.
And again, part of our success with the jackpot series and our club's donations, we had 335 pounds of fish we donated to the Veterans Outreach Center of Wisconsin and chamber vacuum sealer. So, you know, our events are not only fun, but they're producing for the community. So appreciate everyone's effort on that. Mr. Jim,
So, Salmonorama, July 12th through the 20th. We are starting to get some of the entertainment booked. This year last year was the 50th, so we planned a lot more ahead of time. This year, we're kind of planning as we solicit, so please help out and get us sponsors to help us be able to be comparable to what we did last year. But we are starting to get some of the bands booked and things of that nature. We do have sponsorship request letters if anybody wants to help us solicit sponsors. We need items for the raffles as long as monetary donations for the entertainment, the fish pond, renting of the site and things of that nature. The grand prize will again be 50,000. Last year we paid out around $190,000 in cash and prizes.
Yeah.
So this event's been steadily growing each and every year. It's gonna be tough to top last year, but we'll do our best. The 50,000, I think, will entice a lot of people, but like Mike said earlier, you know, this organization, it's great to have 200, 300, 400 volunteers or members. But when you got 5 or 6 active members, it's really tough to put on a lot of the things we do. We really need people to step up, take one item, whether it be the jackpot, the Weird Day, Salmonorama. Get your crew to come and help one day weigh in fish or help us with the raffles. It's gonna help us maintain the data buoy and all the things that we do as an organization, but we really have to start getting more people on board and helping out with this stuff. So that's pretty much where we're at.
yeah, give it a thought and join in. First Monday of every month is the committee meetings.
There will not be a meeting in November.
That's right.
The next meeting will be December.
You don't get service up there for a remote call?
No.
We'll talk to you guys during hunting.
I usually hunt until 10, 11 o'clock, so I don't have to screw that up.
Yeah.
The lights work better the darker it is.
Yep.
I wanna say one thing about Salmon, and Jim mentioned this. Last year, we paid $14,500 to an organization that came in and helped us run our beverages. We wanna keep that 14,500.
How would we do that, Dave?
That means we need people to step up and come and serve beer.
Give a day, one shift.
Give it one shift.
Yep. If every member gave one shift, we'd be fine.
We know everybody wants to fish.
Yeah.
But one shift
One shift.
each.
$14,500 would easily cover our data buoy.
Yeah.
Easily. And have money left over.
Really would help entice the jackpot for our club members as well.
It's money, like Jim said, is data buoy is about $8,500 a month, our kids.
Year.
Or a year, about $8,500 a year.
Yeah.
14,500, that still leaves 6,000. We could put towards something other endeavor of the club.
Yeah, goes a long way, one shift each. I know some of our members are not local and I mean, quite not local, like Minnesota and Iowa and stuff, but. For those of us that are in the region, if you're down fishing out of the Racine area or anywhere in southeast Wisconsin, give one shift and we'd be.
Something that I see what you guys got here. You only got 15 people here talking about.
Yep.
This is the same 15 people you talk to every month, right?
Yeah, well, we do outreach through it, but getting them here is always the challenge.
Free.
Yeah.
Pizza party.
But those aren't the people that are gonna help you either.
So.
Those are the ones that come.
You gotta do something to get, you got 30 people here.
Yeah.
I heard a guy step up to light tonight. Of the 15.
Yeah.
If you got 30, you're gonna get one more guy coming, right?
So we,
It's about, now it's an average.
and we've given that in November every year, as the board knows, we've given some prizes out to encourage people to be here on the voting night.
Yeah, I get that, but it's by the numbers. The more people you got, the
Sure.
more chance you're gonna pull one guy out of there. You're
Absolutely.
gonna pull one guy out of there.
Yeah.
So somehow or another, you gotta figure out how to get 30 or 40 people here.
Yeah.
And then have the same speech you just had now.
And for volunteers down at Salmon Ram, it doesn't have to be the person themselves, it could be your wife, it could be, somebody of age that can sell beer, with no kids.
No, but there's other roles besides that.
Right.
Yeah, we
Right.
could
right.
use
Somebody
all
can-
ages, all types for different roles,
Right,
so.
But don't come in expecting to do what you wanna do.
you're there volunteer.
Somehow you gotta figure out how to get more people in this room and have the same conversation.
Yeah.
Email, text messages, don't cut the mustard.
Aunts and uncles, sisters.
We tried to pin up calendar, but Jim was not Mr. January, so they threw it away after they saw my phone.
Showing up.
You gotta figure out a way to get more people in, do that, that's what.
All right. This is still up on the equipment side. I almost forgot, want to make sure you have it, but somebody actually did need it. And then those are very least for popcorns too, so actually didn't make the meeting. But, any other equipment issues or commentary? I actually had to pull mine out because I did in fact spin my hub and she's ready to go in. I'm gonna drop it in on Monday since I have a day off from work and hopefully retest my boat. Go fishing, but this is a great little pressure unit. If you have out drives, drain the gear oil, hook this into one of the plugs, cap off the other one. You can pressure test it to 10 PSI, rotate your prop shaft or your upper shaft, drive shaft, and look for, leave it overnight, look for leaks. If you hold pressure, you're good. If not, you can spray soapy water on any of the seal joints and look for bubbles and tell which seal you have to replace.
And I got a gimbal bearing puller,
Yeah,
driver.
An alignment
drive a
tool.
new one, an alignment tool, so.
I've got the tool for when you split your drive, the two seals that are in the bottom of the upper half. I've got the tool for popping those in place too, if you ever have to replace those. Oh yeah,
I have one. You gotta change the oil on your picker. It's real easy if you take like a gallon heat jug. Cut the top off, the brand new oil, instead of doing what I did, and end up with oil all over your driving.
I taped a piece of construction paper with a V in it, used painter's tape and taped it right under it, so when it capped off, it went down that into a container. Cause that otherwise, it just goes all the way down, it's not at a convenient spot.
Change it in the neighbor's yard.
All right, with that, I would like to introduce Rob. I don't think he needs much of an introduction. Most of us are fans of him, or our credit cards are fans of him. But I asked Rob to come out. Yeah, talk about not only gear, but just, industry wise, what's going on in the world of retail sports and fishing stores, and give us an opportunity to get Q&A from somebody who's kind of deeply involved.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with that. It's been kind of an interesting year. In September, I put in most of my orders for next year, and I get to talk to a lot of the different companies, with Shimano and Okuma and everybody, and get an idea of what's going on with them. And after some of these shows were over, I got some feedback, and right now, Great Lakes fishing is really hot. As far as fishing industry goes, it's the hottest thing going. So any businesses that are revolving around this trout and salmon are doing pretty good right now. We're just seeing a huge influx of new fishermen getting into salmon fishing, which it's been the trend for about the last 3-4 years. It was kind of coming out of a bit of a ditch. It was like really unpopular for a good 10 years, from about 5 years ago, and then basically like since we opened the store, it was like the worst time to be in the salmon fishing industry. That was when it was the least popular, but we're seeing that growth. What we're seeing in other parts of fishing is that it's been kind of stagnant. So tackles businesses that are more specialized in inland kind of fishing have not been doing that good. But we saw pretty good ordering in general, in the Midwest here for the last month. From like a business to business point perspective, I should say. And so what my sales reps are telling me is that from our September shows where I'm placing orders, that they were doing like COVID numbers, which I don't know if you know, but during COVID, the fishing industry was just booming. It was a bubble. You couldn't keep stuff in stock. I mean, if you couldn't make money during COVID selling fishing stuff, you were in the wrong business. And so what we're seeing now is that the retailers are placing orders at COVID levels, which is pretty incredible. Because that was just, you know, as soon as you can get the stuff, would be out the door. It was pretty good. So that's what we're seeing. But what I've seen in my business again has been, I mean, that's what we've based our business on the last 3 years, is going after new fishermen. We're seeing tons and tons of new fishermen.
Those crossovers, I remember in your videos talking about branching from inland to
Yeah,
big water.
exactly. So we're seeing a lot of people that want to get, you know, not necessarily get away from fishing for bass and muskie and stuff, but they're being lured into fishing for salmon. They want to check out the big water. They see that it's something different they haven't done before, different kind of fishing, and just more people are jumping on board with it. So it's been really good to see. It's really good for like Salmonorama. It's good for me with the store. It's good for clubs. So the main thing for me has been reaching out to these new fishermen, and that's just been just teaching people how to fish and being friendly with them, and kind of getting down to that basic level and understanding that what we do and what we're used to and what we know is a different language. The terminology, they don't know anything about what we're talking. There are people coming into the shop or coming into the classes at the store that have never even been on Lake Michigan. They've never even been on a boat in Lake Michigan and done any kind of trolling at all. They don't even know what a dipsy is. And so we have to take like 5 steps back from what we're used to doing and actually teach everything from the beginning. So that might be something that the clubs can do as well to kind of get more people involved. But one of the things one of the things that we've done is, you know, just created starter packs of rods and reels. So you can go on my website, you can go on our YouTube channel, and we'll explain, hey, these are the rods and reels it takes. This is what free color means. This is what it does. This is your dipsies and how you run it. And then they can just buy all the rods and reels in one click. And they just set up their whole boat from scratch. And that's become a pretty popular thing.
Yeah.
That's what's really helped me with my business. Instead of just having $100 sales, then all of a sudden it gets $800 sales. And people are willing to spend the money on it. So it's been pretty interesting. I've had a lot of good feedback with it, but that's kind of the state of the industry right now as far as that part of it goes. And then the other side of it, it's been what we're seeing with like new manufacturers, new startups and stuff like that. And then a little bit of rebellion against other ones, like moonshine being taken over by Acme and it going to China and everybody flipping out about it. But what we're seeing, and I think what we're going to continue to see, is some of the new smaller independent spoon companies are going to keep taking their chunks out of moonshine. I don't think moonshine's going anywhere. Like if your dock neighbor is catching fish on a specific moonshine that you don't have, you're probably going to buy it. But I think you're going to see these little guys take a chunk out of it. So the businesses are going to start to be, you know, a little bit less moonshine heavy, and you're going to start seeing more and more different smaller brands in each of the shops. And that's the way Lake Michigan Angler is going to be going forward, is you're going to see more smaller companies in there instead of just a whole aisle of Stinger and a whole aisle of moonshine, stuff like that. We'll still have it, a lot of it. You're going to see more of the smaller companies in there. Any questions about any of that stuff?
I don't know if it's sarcastic or serious, but there's a question online said, Rob, what should I run on my 10 color?
Run a J plug. So anyways, I'll get into some of the new stuff. Okuma's coming out with a lot of new stuff. They've been really good with me in my business. They really are good with the new fishermen because they're at a price point that someone who's got to buy 8 or 10 rods and reels at once to get started, they're at a price point that is affordable compared to Shimano or Penn, you know, you're the. Okuma reel is half the price and a rod is a third of the price of a Shimano. So it's a really easier way for people to get started. But one of the new reels that actually is bigger ones came out 2 years ago. This is a Solterra, it's a lever drag reel. This is the 20 size. This one's good for like lead cores and coppers. But the real reason I want to.
That's a 20 size?
Yeah, so the size is more on saltwater, not like what we're used to with.
Watch the fan.
Convection 30s and stuff.
Yeah.
So. But for this year, they came out with these smaller ones. There's also a bigger one in that 50 that'll hold like 600 copper. I just didn't have any left in the shop to sell, but these smaller.
600 copper.
Not this
That
one.
one, that one, the most I can get on there is 350.
There's another one he said that's bigger.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a bigger one, and then there's actually 4 sizes, so we'll start there. There's a 10, this is a 10 right here. That's the 20, there's also a 15, and then there's the big giant 50. Jim, I think you've got a 50, right? Yeah.
The 20 is like a 45.
600 copper.
It's like a 55.
That's
It's
when you
like
put the
in between a
9-year-old on
45 and a 55.
Big lake trout.
Cause I can do a 350 copper on that.
Yeah.
And that really maxes it out
Yeah.
though. But anyway, so this year we started using these, like I had to go get this off the boat because I didn't have any left in the store, but we were using these on our downriggers this year and I really liked them. The lever drag is really nice.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you're letting it down, it works pretty well. You let, you know, just push down on the rigger, let it go down. When you hit the depth, you just pop that forward and you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's just got a lot of power and it's a very reasonable reel. It's a very heavy duty reel. It's got all stainless steel gears and it's got a ton of torque. When you're reeling in a flasher, it really cranks it in.
Ratio is that?
I was just to say, what are the ratios?
The system's just 4-to-1. Yeah,
How about
but
the other ones?
they're the same. I think they might a little bit less, like 3.9. Should say on there. I don't remember exactly,
Is the,
but it's very smooth drag.
I was gonna ask comparable to like what you say very smooth drag. I'm using convectors or
It's definitely smoother in convector drag.
okay,
Yeah.
on par with.
Yeah, but it's been a very good reel for us. It's almost has too much torque, or you could horse the fish pretty easily. So you gotta kind of watch it with that, but just a well-built reel and they're not expensive for what you're getting. It's 160, the small size here is $165. So compared to the other stuff on the market that's in the same quality, you know, it's a lot less money. So
Yeah.
They throw different.
Hmm?
They throw different tricks.
well, it's a lever drag, so it's a whole different, yeah.
Oh, didn't they say that they put in the carbon drag sort of it?
On the new cold waters. are
Oh,
getting-
the cold, oh.
Yeah.
Watch,
So-
Mike, down.
Sorry, it's an ugly stick.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
No, there's a pad behind you.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
Here you go, Rich. Keep that.
Ugly stick, grinder
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
You put it in a trash compactor.
Hey, it's an ugly stick, you can't break it.
But yeah, as long as we're on the subject of the cold waters, the drag, I did bring some of the new cold waters in.
5200.
I didn't even take these off the box.
Yeah. Yeah, Lily, for those of us of the right generation, Lily said it's a Nokia 5200. Indestructible.
So Okuma's got the new cold water here coming out, or it is out. Not a lot of them available. Gonna be some of the first people to see it. It's definitely smoother reel with an upgraded drag from the old one. It's pretty nice, and they kept the price the same. So they're still $130.
Nice.
The 55 size is not available yet. That one's gonna still be more. That one's like 180, 190 in there.
That's coming out.
But it's a pretty nice reel.
You know, in the 55 size, do they say about when it's gonna come up?
Well, I think before the new year.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it could be next week for all I know. It's just when I got these, those weren't available yet.
Okay.
So, and there's also a new cold water line of rods that are pretty nice. I haven't gotten to see all the models of it yet, but I had the copper rod. The copper rod's very nice.
They still make the cold water dipsy rods, the wire dipsy rods.
No.
Broken metal wires.
Yeah, those are nice rods.
I really like those.
Yeah, they have a new cold water Nipsey rod, but I've not been able to see that one in person yet.
Okay.
So, it's a nice reel. It's, you know, it's coming in a 20, a 30, 45, 55 size, low regular speed and high speed. So all the same options as the old ones. It's definitely smoother than the old cold waters.
And you don't have to redo the drag out of the box on these?
That's what they're saying. So It is an upgraded drag, but I didn't, on the other, what also they're coming out with though, they're not available yet. These will be available in January, I believe. A custom run of the Catalinas. Which, that was my favorite reel that Akuma ever
Yeah.
made. Got all aluminum frame. I did finally, I mean, I've been hearing about it for the last 3 months. I ordered a ton of. I think I ordered 100 of them.
With their price point.
They're gonna be over 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the original ones were over 2, but those that was. The ones I had were discontinued when I got them, and that was 15 years ago. And I don't, so, they were always my favorite reel. So I was pretty excited to find out they're coming out with that. Got to see it in person, feels awesome, super heavy duty reel. It's pretty cool that they're doing that. Now that reel is a custom reel for one of my wholesalers, so it's not like, a regular Akuma thing. But the cool thing about that is, when I get these custom runs from Akuma, that for you guys at least, when you're dealing with the warranty, you don't have to send anything back to Akuma, you just bring it back to me. And then I can if I have it in stock, I can replace it on the spot. Or they replace it for me really fast.
Okay.
So there's no dealing with a Akuma warranty center. It all goes to me and then back to Michigan to the wholesaler. So that goes for, that's gonna be, well, a lot of Akuma stuff, like regular Akuma stuff, if you buy it from me in like less than 30 days and it breaks, then you can bring it back to me. But in general, you're typically after that, you're really supposed to go straight to Akuma. But with any of the custom stuff, whether it's Akuma Big Lake Tournament Series, Vector Pro Series, the new Catalina reels, all that stuff has to come back to me first. So it's pretty convenient that you can get the stuff replaced on the spot, rather than having to spend $20 shipping a rod back to California, to Akuma, you know? So that's one thing I do like about dealing with that kind of stuff. It's just easier for everybody. So I don't have grumpy customers because I can't take their rod back.
This is not one.
Hmm?
That's not one.
The Catalina, it's all with line counters.
Oh, really?
All, well, not the 55, but all the smaller sizes will all have line counters, just like all the other Akuma reels. So, but yeah, on their copper rod, we actually did a giveaway. And so I shouldn't have given that one away, but that was my only one.
Yeah.
But the copper rod's a pretty nice rod. It's got a nice action to it, and all the heights on them are a little more heavy duty than what we're used to on all the other copper rods. So, but yeah, speaking of the giveaway right now, every Saturday morning at 9:30, we go live on YouTube, and we're giving away. This weekend's going to be a cold water and a Convector Pro Series rod. And all you gotta do is watch the YouTube video, make sure you're signed into YouTube, and just say something, make a comment, say hi. Doesn't matter what you say, you know, it doesn't matter, but you're automatically entered into a free raffle for that rod and reel. Akuma loaded me up with rods and reels just to give away on YouTube. So we'll be doing these for quite a while into the spring, rod and reel giveaways. So, yeah, just watch, just say something. You don't even have to be listening. You just be logged in and just say anything, make a smiley face emoji, and you should win. So so far we've given away, we've only been doing it for 3 weeks. We've gave away, the first one, we gave away one of the new cold water rods, cold water reel. And then we did a couple spinning rod and reel combos. They gave us good stuff, like Akuma SST spinning rods, you know, so everything he wins like $200. It was pretty good for something you don't have to pay for.
Right.
So yeah, make sure if you're not familiar with the YouTube channel, subscribe to Lake Michigan Angler TV, and then we're doing the giveaways live every Saturday morning at 9:30, roughly, because sometimes customers come in and we get stuck, but try to do it about 9:30 in the morning. Let's see what else I got here. Oh, another new product here. These are made right in Racine. These are planer board lights. Little flags put on your planer boards. Got them in red and green, and they've got replacement lights.
Who's making
those
these?
around. They're made by the Brand Group. But yeah, pretty cool product that I've sold a bunch of so far, and everybody seems pretty happy with them. So, but yeah, a local product right there. And then as far as new products for the store this year. Oh, so when I'm fishing and racing, it's early in the spring, And late in the fall, like November, December, and then March and April and all that, I use a lot of Brad's thin fish. My favorite baits, especially the purple one, just got your brown, seal at cohos. This year, we got the Ice Strong Outdoors, killer fish, which is his own version of a Brad's, but he's got a lot of way better colors. And there's a lot of like custom thin fins out there, but they're all the really thin ones. And to me, the thin ones just don't work as well as like the bulkier body bait on these killer fish, which is like a Brad's or an old style storm thin fin. So I got these. I only grabbed a few colors, makes a ton of different colors of these, but these are really good baits. I'm not using them right now, but I'll start using them when I fish down here in November. And I'll keep using them all winter as long as the water's open. And then again, first in the spring, but those are really good. If you're just casting off the docks and Reef Point here, or if you're trolling in the boat or kayak like me, they're great baits for that. And
How deep do they go?
it says 2 to 10 feet on there. I think 10 feet's pretty generous.
These aren't thin fins, they're called killer fish.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you can't use the thin fin name.
Yeah.
But he called them killer fish. But yeah, this is just he makes, I think he probably makes 36 colors. So
You probably have them all on your website.
Ice Strong.
Oh,
Yeah. So I didn't bring all the colors, it was just too much. But yeah, if you want to cast, roll them, they work pretty good for both. But when I'm fishing here in the winter, late fall, that style of bait is my absolute best for protecting steelhead and brown. So for any cold weather months, those are pretty good ones. Mixed glow in the dark ones, 5 different kinds of Wonder Bread, like a little everything on there. So
how would you rate those? You put them on a couple of lead cores or?
well, when I'm fishing in the marina, like when I'm going up and down the river here, fishing in the marina, I just put them back like 50 feet and that's it. But if you're gonna do like early spring out in front, going down to the treatment plant and all that, I mean, you could fish them right on the surface like that, or you could put a couple colors of lead in front of it. If you want to, I don't think you usually need to at that time of the year, but time to get down a little bit. But usually, if you just put them anywhere from 50 to 100 feet behind the board, you're gonna catch fish. So they have an action that washes out. If you haven't used many of the Brads or anything, they kind of go like this through the water. That just seems to work really well. They've got the right profile too.
Feed wise, how fast?
I haven't seen how fast. I usually fish around 1.8 to 2.4.
Same.
You could probably go faster, but I've never tried.
And those cranks.
Yeah, no, this one you can go pretty fast. And the nice thing about it is like if you're fishing in the marina, at least, and a lot of bait, you get into an area with some weeds and some of the baits take with weeds. And with these baits, for whatever reason, you can usually just set the hook on it and the weeds just fall off. Like you kind of cut through them. A lot of the other crankbaits out there, you can't cut through the weeds as easily if they get caught on there. So that's another reason I like them. They catch anything too, like just pike around the lead it too. So. So new from Salmon Candy this year were all these gold Dodgers. So we had dirty water, they were working pretty good. A bunch of different colors of them, pass those around. That was kind of the only real new thing from them that I can remember at least. But and I still had in the store, but they were pretty good, especially early on. We had some dingier water with all that rain. They were good in the muddy water.
Hey, Rob, one other question online too is regarding your streams. Can you win more than once?
No, someone actually, all right, no, one we did, we've only done 3
Someone-
so far, and one guy almost won twice. We called his name twice, but we didn't let him win the second time.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
For this line of series, like these giveaways we're doing right now, you can only win once. So we've kind of made that precedent after the last raffle, but
Sure.
yeah, lucky guy though. We only did 3 of them. He would have won 2 of them.
That just spreads the chance out for the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. All right, another new thing for the store that we never had before are tape cuts, and I'll be expanding this, so you can come and customize your spin doctors, your other flashers, spoons, if you want eyes, dodgers, all this kind of stuff. This is just a small handful of the different tape we've got now. But just something else we have. I just figured I'd make everybody aware that You don't have to cut your own tape now if you don't want to. You can just buy it, cut.
I got rolls of tape, but I'm still.
Well, I'm sure, yeah, yeah. Right. But yeah, so this is just like, I don't know, I think I have 24 different colors of each kind of cup. You can kind of doctor up your lures to look however you want. Oh, and before I forget, while we were on that moonshine topic, for those of you that know Lauren, this is his favorite spoon. He does not know I have these here tonight. These are actually American ones.
Oh, they are, you can tell by the packaging.
Yeah, and I grabbed a few. Anything, if you guys want to buy anything that I have, that's fine. But yeah, I do have, his favorite spoon is the Steely Ranger, and I grabbed 4 American ones before I came here. There's very few American spoons left in my store. Do not tell them. Do not, if you talk to him, do not tell him that I brought these around, so. I'm sorry.
I already texted him, I'm sorry.
But yeah, this is, when he fishes out in front here, this is the only spoon he uses, so. But yeah, I'll pass one of those around. That's a really good spoon. And this is, yeah, one of the very few American ones left. The American spoons went pretty fast in my store. There were a few new stubbies for this year. I wouldn't have any left, but there was a back order that I didn't know about that came in like 2 weeks ago. So I ended up getting some of my spring baits, but this was pretty good seller. This was one of the new ones for this year. The reverse clown. Just kind of a no-brainer color that you know is gonna work, but that was a good bait. Another thing that we had that was pretty good this year, actually several years ago, Frank, the old owner, he had all these orange spin doctors made. Not too long before he died, and then he sold them all and they were really good, but didn't have them made again because he wasn't around, so. Dreamweaver still had a lot of orange spin doctor blanks laying around, so we had to bring back this UV yellow dot. And that was actually a really good one. For like the whole month of June, this was a pretty killer rig for us on a dipsy. It would catch mostly bows, but it did catch kings too. So try that one. You don't see too many 8-inch orange spin doctors around. That was just to get them to mold the plastics was special for us at Michigan Angler. Another new company for this year, like I said, I think you're gonna see more and more of the newer companies. This is from Mr. Chrome. I got a bunch of his stuff up here. The smaller companies are just easier to deal with nowadays than the bigger companies, so. If I need something, he gets it to me. If I need a special order, I have it really fast in like a week. I can't do that with the bigger companies anymore, or less than a week. It's just gonna be the trend that you see is more of these guys. If I want this spoon, but with a green head instead of the yellow, he'll make it for me. There's that flexibility you get with the smaller guys that you don't get out of the big ones. So
Copperback Wonder Bread?
I bet he could, well, if he has copper blanks, I bet he could do it. You know, like getting Stinger to do it is so difficult. I still get some, I should have brought some of the gold yellow huts, their other huts, because I get the hut special, the gold hut's not a made spoon anymore. I have to have that custom made.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing.
When Lily and I first got into this 4 or 5 years ago, just thinking around, not knowing what we were doing, we had a copperback Wonder Bread that she called our lucky lure because that thing was just so good.
Yeah.
I've looked in your store, I've never seen one since. I don't know where it came from.
I mean, we used to have it made, back in the day, you could like call Stinger up and say, I want a blue dolphin with a red head on copper, but I only want 6, and they would do it.
Yeah.
And at some point, like, it wasn't the most reasonable way to do business for them, but they kind of went the other way in extreme, where if I need something made, especially something as simple as a HUD, they're like, well, you need to get 200.
Sure.
Which I'll sell them. But the thing is that I can't get 200 of everybody's favorite spoon.
Yeah.
Like at some point, I'm stuck with a lot of inventory. But this guy's from the UP. Most of the spoon manufacturers all are somewhere around Lake Michigan. But he's a cool guy to work with. He custom painted our reef runners and flicker shad. He got them done super fast. Just a good guy. And it's kind of nice to deal with someone small like that instead of dealing with sales reps and and everything, so I do have a bunch more. I don't know which ones I passed around, they're good spoons and flat too, like, so we had them, remake the NBK, cause Stinger didn't even know they discontinued it, but they discontinued it. And so I called him up and I was like, hey, can you make this flasher? He's like, sure, how many you want? I was like, give me 100. And I had him in a week. So that's pretty nice that I can,
Fast turnaround.
exactly. So, see what else I got here. I think that's really it, other than just more variety of the same stuff I passed around, but yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to ask, yeah. That's what I got for you. If you wanna buy anything, it's all for sale. So,
Little history background. Between you and your dad, how long have you guys been selling salmon?
well, so, yeah, Frank wasn't my dad, but he was doing that. He started Lake Michigan Angler out of his basement in like 1996 or 97.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
At least that early.
Yeah,
It's
and,
crazy.
yeah, and back then, I mean, he was,
He pulled the first glow in the dark spoons,
yeah,
they're Dreamweavers, and man, our night fishing just increased like you wouldn't believe back then.
yep, he was always trying new stuff.
Frank was an innovator.
Yeah, he really was, like,
He was.
you know, he was the guy way back in the
He
day.
brought
He
stuff
brought-
to us that we never even thought about it again.
Yeah, he was importing bait here so you could fish with herring. So he was the one that was bringing in all the Reese Davis strips from the West Coast and selling it to all the other stores around here when he was running Lake Michigan Angler out of his basement.
You had a cold room with like 2 pallets of beer.
He had, yeah, he rented cold storage somewhere that he kept a secret. I don't even know where it was. And he had,
It's like 20 minutes away, I would guess.
did you? I never looked, I wasn't that interested.
It's the local Wendy's.
But, yeah, he rented a cold storage place that he had pallets of herring and anchovy. And I don't even remember what kind of fish, because eventually he cleared it out and he brought it all to the shop. And there was fillets of all sorts of random kinds of fish, just in case you want to try that on a meat rig. Tuna, anything, any kind of weird saltwater fish you could think of, he had. So,
Got some of that.
yeah. But yeah, he was like one of the first people to run meat out here. Any kind of West Coast technique he wanted to try here. He would go to the West Coast and just bring back random flashers. There was piles and piles of the most random, goofy looking lures that you just want to try. You know, and actually, I still have the tapes, but back in the day when Walker was making the Strike Vision downriggers, which ran video signal through the cable and had a camera at the downrigger balls.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a camcorder hooked up to the downrigger itself, and you could watch through the camcorder while you're fishing. So he would just have endless hours. He'd record everything, every trip. He would just be recording your lures in the water and just seeing how they work, watching the fish come up and all that kind of stuff. I have nothing to play the videos on, but there's thousands of hours of just little tapes in the basement of the shop of just lure footage.
It's pretty neat innovator that he got once was Denny's spoons.
Yeah, and you know what? I found some today. I was looking on eBay.
Well, I got a bunch of them. I wanted to beat the guy. I knew he had the name, but he passed before I get it from him. So I don't even know where he's at.
Denny?
Yeah,
Denny disappeared. So originally in the shop, the whole moonshine aisle was supposed to be Denny's. Like Frank was a big Denny's
yeah.
flow guy, yeah. And we had that whole aisle just ready to get that Denny's shipment. And Denny just disappeared. No one knows what happened to him.
Oh, really?
He just got sick of making spoons and gone.
He did a lot of crushed seashells with all his finishes. So it was all pearl inside of it, but they work pretty damn good if you can find them.
Yeah, well, I just found about 18 yesterday.
Yep.
Of the glow mongoose. They're pretty good ones.
I got about 150 of them. So.
So yeah, they might be, unless you want to come down to the shop tomorrow and get some Denny spoons, they'll be on eBay by the end of next week. Yeah, he was bringing stuff in from all over the place, so.
He actually spoke here once, Denny did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. I never met him. Yeah, I never met Denny, And when I got into the business, when he disappeared. So then moonshine just kind of took over from there. But a lot of people liked it at that time, at least, they liked the Denny glow more than the moonshine glow.
What's your history, Rob? How did you show up at LMA?
Yeah.
I heard the story today, but it was interesting. I thought everybody else might want to hear.
Oh, I was just fishing.
Left on the
So-
doorstep at 2.
Yeah, so back when I got my driver's license, when I was 16, the first place I drove was an Illinois Steelheaders meeting. And that's how I got to know Frank. Just going from that fishing club. And then I moved up here when I was in college and I was fishing the harbors like literally almost every day. I would just get out of class, if it was like the weather looked like it would be good for fishing, I just get up and leave halfway through class. I couldn't take it. And I'd go fishing. And then at that time, he was kind of like working from home and like be able to get out of work early. So he'd be fishing too all the time down at the harbor from shore. So I just got to know Frank that way. And then after college and I was doing like insurance stuff, bouncing around. And he's like, he just called me one day. He's like, I'm gonna open a store. You want to do it? I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, let's do it. There was nothing to think about. I was like, I'm gonna go open a store with him. And that's how it started.
And was that a good decision or a bad decision?
I
Probably
think he regretted it
took some hours away
for,
from you.
for a little while at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of hours. I think it took us almost a year. It was probably 8 months of just setting up the store.
Yeah.
Because I was
very
still,
particular.
he was very particular. And we were doing it like outside of our regular jobs too. So I still had to work. You know, I was 25 and I didn't have like savings where I could just work for free setting up the store for 8 months. So I was doing it on all my days off and before and after work. He still had a life to live. So it took a long time to get that store set up the way he wanted it, especially, and then be ready to be open. It was just a lot of stuff. It was just a big empty room, and all that stuff was in his basement. It was packed in the Tupperware bins,
It
and
was unbelievable.
yeah,
Out in Antioch.
yeah,
It was
Yeah.
unbelievable when you went up there. It was just, you were just overwhelmed.
yeah. You'd like open up like a thing of pegboard, like a door, and there'd be
Yeah.
another pegboard behind it full of gear. And then he was actually back then. He was the biggest seller of Berkeley power bait and gulp in the whole Midwest, just from his website out of his basement. And so he'd open up some of these like cabinets and there'd just be thousands and thousands of packages of power bait and gulp. It was endless. And then most obscure random stuff like gulp sand fleas. What do you need? And like, what do you need that for? But he would be selling them to somebody in Florida. Squids and all goofy stuff. Some of the stuff I still have. So Gulp had cut bait strips. It was just like a sheet of Gulp. You just cut it to whatever you want. And I still sell those things because what he would do is when a company like that would close stuff out and they give it like a really good deal, he just buy it all.
Big lot.
So I ended up with thousands of packages of this stuff. I'm finally getting down to like under 100. So
Yeah, we use that stuff when it was one of the things when there was that whole VHS stuff going around.
Mhm.
Couldn't get it.
I know when I was out of bait this year, a couple people tried it and they caught some fish on it.
So he also gave me years ago, they were Uncle Josh,
Yep,
pork rind was, they caught fish.
yep. I still have some of those if you want those. I got 2 jars of them.
On the plus side, Frank had always been very informative, very patient with bringing you along when you started to introduce people to fishing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really glad that your store is actually doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of picking up from where he left off, but kind of took it to another step, you know.
You actually cater, like you said, to the new fishermen,
Yeah,
and then you actually have a lot of seminars for the upper end fishing people.
yeah, I tried to do a little of both. But yeah, if you're a brand new fisherman and somebody doesn't show you exactly how to set up a dodger for cohos in the spring, it's pretty easy to do it completely wrong and then you don't catch any fish. So to me, it's worth the time to just take and show everybody how to properly do those types of things, just super basic stuff and. It's good for the fishermen and it's good for my business. So,
You doing any classes this winter?
yeah, first one's gonna be Keating. We're still, I thought we had the date set in stone for that one, but I guess we don't. It's probably gonna be, beginning of February.
Okay.
So, and then we'll do another one 3 weeks after that, but it depends on what day Keating commits to. So he's committed to like 3 dates so far and they keep uncommitting. Like, how about this one instead? So I'm not putting any dates out there anymore. Like I already told people, oh, it's gonna be this day and then it changes. But beginning of February, we'll have Keating. And then once that's set in stone, I'll have the other ones. We'll probably do 2 more in-store ones.
Yeah.
And then of course, we always have, like, we're just starting our season for the podcast. So the next video coming out on YouTube will be our trip today with Jim. And then we'll do our live thing and then we'll be full swing into podcast season. So if you haven't watched our podcast, I don't even know how many we've got on our YouTube channel, but you can go and watch all our old podcasts with local charter captains and tournament fishermen and DNR and biologists and whoever. Sometimes it's just me and Mike, but there's, loads of information on there. So
Keeps you going during the winter.
yeah, exactly.
All in all, through the year, could you name 2 of your flashers and maybe 2 of your spoons that were kind of your go-tos that went in the water every time?
You know what, for me this year, when fishing was pretty good, so it didn't matter so much. So I just grabbed pretty much every trip that I went out. I put this on one Dipsy. I put a white Megatron on the other Dipsy.
Is that green? I want to.
Yeah, this is the NBK.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And as far as the flies go, I'm trying to remember, we're using like the Munda flies. The guy ties the fly for me.
Yeah.
The from under cheese and then from under crinkle. And then he came out with these more aquas. There's triple aqua. That one was really good. The reality is though, is the fishing out of North Point this year was the silliest good fishing I've ever seen. So as much as I could say this thing was on fire, anything I put, like when I'd go out, I would be like, let's find something that never worked before to put it in the water, and then you guarantee it's gonna catch a fish, because that's how crazy the fishing was down there for like an entire month. We couldn't even shoot videos. We had to stop putting lines in the water to shoot videos. We're trying to do a video on how to use copper and how to let out the copper, and the rods keep going up. It was like that every day for an entire month. But even when things did get a little tougher, those 2 flashers, this and that white Megatron were my best on the wire Dipsies. As far as like what we had on the rigger go, I didn't really have like a consistent flasher on that rigger that was just week after week always working. So on our boat we run 2 riggers. One's almost always an SWR with a spoon, and the other one's almost always a flasher. And we really, to get a consistent flasher bite on the rigger, we did have to mix that one up quite a bit. Whether it was just a white Pro Troll or 11-inch white or the green jeans flasher. I mean, we went through a lot of them to get consistent bites on the riggers, but the Dipsies were just always firing. And spoons didn't seem to matter. Like, we could put random spoons out every trip and catch fish, it seemed. So it made my job easy, because with all the new fishermen, I'd be like, yeah, use this and use this, you do fine. And then they go out and catch a pile of fish, like, oh yeah, you were right. And I was a hero to them all. Then it got a little tougher and like reality struck, and you had to actually try and give them the right baits to work. But it was fun while it lasted, looking like a hero to these guys, and everything that I said was gonna catch fish did.
Are you running double Dipsies, and what kind of length you been running on the leads?
We run short leads, but typically most of the time we only run 1 Dipsy aside.
Okay.
And any extra lines we put in the water most of the time. I mean, we do run it sometimes, but most of the time we're not. And we run 7-foot leads on our Dipsies. And for us, whatever reason, when we tried the extra long leaders like everybody else, we stopped catching fish on our Dipsies. Whenever we do anything to change the setup on our Dipsies, they stop working. Our Dipsies are our best rods. And I know that a lot of people have a lot of success running longer leads. But when we try, we do anything to our dipsies, they stop working. We switch from like a size 1 dipsy to a magnum, it stops working. We try a 15-foot leader, it stops working. Bring it back to 7 feet, you start catching fish again. So that's just what works on our boat. I think sometimes the type of, every boat's different, you know, we're in a 25-foot boat with 4-stroke outboard. It's quiet. You get a boat like a 36 Tierra, a boat that's louder, has a lot more displacement, maybe it has diesels. What I find is when I'm talking to the fishermen using those boats, those long leaders tend to make a bigger difference than they do for us. Like you need that long leader to be more effective with the dipsies. That's just my experience talking to all my customers. You know, that's kind of what I do really try to take in consideration and remember everything that people tell me in the store and what works for them. Like I know there's a lot of baits I can catch fish on out here in my kayak that to try to catch a fish on in the boat isn't gonna happen. Like I can catch all the fish I want on reef runners, all the kings I want on reef runners. But if I take that same reef runner on somebody's 33 Tierra, it's not gonna buy a fish. And so sometimes guys with big boats come in the shop and they're like, hey, what was that lure you're using? I was like, this one, but it's not gonna work for it. But we try it. You know, there's different action to it and all that kind of stuff when you're in a kayak versus a boat. And same thing if you're in a smaller boat or it's a big boat and all that. So yeah, a lot of it just depends on the boat. And you just gotta figure out what works on your boat.
What are your thoughts on size of fish, bait, you know, how this last year looked? Health of fishery.
It was kind of interesting. Like the cohos obviously looked really, really healthy the whole year. They also topped off. If you looked at like 2 years ago, we had really big cohos, right? But in late July and August, we were catching 14-pound cohos. I mean, I was weighing them in the shop on a regular basis. This year, middle of August, like all year, we're like, hey, these are big cohos, big cohos, big cohos. So I'm thinking middle of August, we'll have 14-pound cohos again. They just stopped growing at 10 pounds. At least down by us. Now, when we had that north wind in the middle of August, a lot of them just got out. But how many, I mean, Salmonorama, how many cohos were weighed over 10 pounds?
Can Jim count them?
Well, first one, I caught a 17-pounder
Yeah.
2 weeks before Salmonorama.
Yeah.
Then I caught the 15 during Salmonorama.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there weren't any fish.
No, it's
stopped,
funny
but
that he
Those are
caught,
the biggest ones out of
he caught 2
Yeah.
lunkers back to
Well,
back.
yeah, but compared to 2 years ago, we were seeing a lot
Yeah.
more 14.
Yeah, and you're right, this year started
It
big.
started to look like that. So, but there was no shortage of bait. I mean, I would have been worried the way those fish were biting down by us. It was biting too good. You'd have thought all these fish were starving, but they come in bloated full of alewives, so they're not starving fish. King size is a little disappointing. And based on, I know we have King Week at the shop.
Yeah.
The second week of September, we got the kayakers out there and boats and shore.
That's
fishing.
why I was asking, because
You know,
you see a
and-
lot of them.
I weighed a lot of 8-pound kings.
There's so many jacks this year.
Yeah.
The
8
harbor,
pounders.
Waukegan Harbor, I was there today. I seen 100 of them, all jacks,
Yeah,
all small kings. I did not see one big one in the butts.
no,
But the harbor is loaded, right?
and I don't know, I mean. As far as the condition of the lake seems fine. There's a lot of different things that affect how big fish get. You know, what their top end is and that more than just the bait fish population, you know. So I don't really know how to read into it. If it really means anything, or if next year they'll all be big fish again, who knows? But one thing for sure is when get a king to be 30 pounds, it's gotta be eating good its entire life. You can't just have all of a sudden a lot of alewives in the lake, its 3rd year and expect it to get 30 pounds. It has to start eating a lot of alewives as soon as possible, or it won't ever have the potential to get to 30 pounds. They just have to start eating early, you know, that's. For whatever reason, maybe that this year class of kings didn't find alewives when they were super young. And so they're eating other stuff and growing slower. And then by the time they were big enough to eat alewives, they weren't that big. They were just a step behind the whole thing. You know, so there was never that chance for them to get to 30 pounds. I mean, there were 30-pound fish, but they were all up north. Some years we do see them down south by us. This year we really weren't though.
Big fish over 30 you even see, like before the fall run.
Down there,
Yeah, or whatever.
Biggest fish I weighed in for salmon ram was 25 even.
How about the whole year?
Whole year, well, I mean, I'm not weighing everybody's fish the whole year, but.
Right, I mean, but that could come in.
There were a couple upper 20s fish caught down by us, but that was early in the season.
Right.
Which isn't unusual at the biggest fish caught out of North Point or in June. But, I mean, that's kind of a normal thing for down there. But you weren't hearing about 26, 27s. You're not even like BS. I mean, usually, I mean, being in tech, I'm pretty jaded. The people tell me how big their fish is. I don't think anything about it anymore because I've heard enough fish stories. But I wasn't even getting the fish stories of 25s and 26s anymore. So, that, I mean, if that tells you something too,
Yeah.
that I don't even have, like, usually when there's some big fish around, I get all sorts of people telling me they caught 30-pounders that they were 24. You know, once you see the fish, you know, they didn't really weigh it. I wasn't even getting that happening this year, so it's kind of weird.
I know I only went for bait once this spring, and even then, maybe I was keeping about a third of the ones.
They're all small.
They're all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I think.
And even the ones I kept weren't. like-
Yeah, we had
Ideal.
big alewives early, and one of the videos we shot early in the spring doing coho fishing, that day we were out. We had big alewives, we were snagging big alewives. You know, like that. But they were gone quick, and then they were all like 3.5 to 4 inches max. That's kind of what we were stuck with for the rest of the season. So,
There was a lot of the whole bit and him and it on.
yeah, I mean, if we lost the year class of the biggest fish, and now those kings have to work harder to get the same amount of calories, they gotta eat 2 fish. To get the same amount of calories they get out of one big alewife. Well, now they're not gonna get as big as fast, they gotta work harder, they gotta work twice.
It's not
as hard.
by us, I think the main food source was definitely the goby. I couldn't tell you how many fish I cleaned this year just full of gobies. More gobies than alewives, I swear, it was just goby sitting down by us.
Any kings or most of the gold?
Everything had a minute, I don't care what kind of fish it was, goby had goby there.
Yeah, they'll eat those gobies, I mean, I've cut open cohos that I caught where the screen's lit up with alewives.
Yeah.
And then I take them to play them, they're full of gobies, there's 9 billion alewives where I was just fishing.
Everything.
Solid, the electronics are just a solid wall of alewives and they're still full of gobies. So I don't know if they just get sick of alewives sometimes or if they, I don't know. what to
Easier
do.
catch.
But yeah, I mean, that, yeah, they can't swim as huge as,
Right.
you know, they are easy to catch, so.
It's weird, 32 feet of water,
That was that
but
one.
it was 18 feet, you couldn't see it
Yeah.
below there on the graph.
So, any other questions or anything?
Unbelievable, I haven't seen that
Yeah.
in years.
What's that?
Any other questions, he said?
All right, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Obvious reminder, Saturday, Weird Day, all the information's up. I think we covered that pretty well earlier. Yeah, I tried to cycle everything over there. If anything's missing, I can't promise which guy took it. City of Racine also has a river cleanup that they're doing. And I shared with them, they're sharing our events. They're very happy with our performance at Salmonorama. The park district asked if I would share this for our members. But on September 26th, there's just a general public, basically river cleanup day that they're setting up from Lincoln Park, same spot that we always set up to for our river cleanup if you're available. Upcoming events, beyond the Weird Day in the cities. Salmonorama committee meeting is not on November 4th. Jim just mentioned that that one will be unavailable for. Membership meeting on the 13th. Please, if you have friends and such who are members, I encourage us to get more members out for that one in particular. We'll be voting for the new directors, and then Jim had brought up a proposal at our board meeting that I want to let him share regarding this Thanksgiving.
So usually we get together in November and we do we pull names for turkeys. This year, it really hasn't affected the membership that much or the attendance.
Yeah.
So this year we'll be donating it to the Veterans Outreach here in Racine. And we will be doing a drive. If anybody would like to bring a turkey, we encourage that they do it. Somewhere in the 10 to 14 pound range. And if you aren't able to get to a store and you'd like to make a cash donation, we'll also take the cash and purchase additional turkeys. But this year, we're gonna give back and to our veterans and help them have a little nicer Thanksgiving and hopefully some leftovers for sandwiches during the week, so. The Veterans Outreach, I don't know how many have been to that building here in Racine. But if you ever get a chance, I encourage everybody to stop there. And the more people stop there, the more involved that we'll become, because it's actually a little bit embarrassing the way our veterans are treated and what is really available. And I know the impact that we have made with the fish and things of that nature
Yeah, we did the
have
food
been
drive earlier this
generously
year.
received, because it is nothing against the Veterans Outreach, they do what they can with what they have, but it's not really state or federally funded. It's kind of local people trying to get outdated, day-old stuff from local stores and things of that
Or
nature.
grants. They get,
Yeah.
So they do a heck of a job, but it's nowhere near what our veterans should be receiving. They deserve a lot more. So please bring what you can or donate what you can, and we'll do this turkey drive. For Thanksgiving.
and I forgot to say, but Mary Lee said thank you for all the fish, the vacuum sealer that we donated.
Yep.
And everything that the club has done for that group. She, I don't know if you know, but she works there as well.
That's where she took her spill.
What's the Veterans Outreach again?
Veterans Outreach is on, what street is that?
It's not Gold, it's right next to Gold,
It's the old Teamster Hall.
yeah. Just off North Memorial, just west of North Memorial. If you look up Veterans Outreach Wisconsin.
I just, I
Like
don't
us.
have all the details.
Yeah.
She sent out a thing, fundraiser.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Said Mary Lee sent out a thing about the fundraiser that they're having. And the tickets are available.
Thank you. 1624 Yount Street.
You know where the old Teamster Hall, well, 43 was, that's where, that's it.
Yeah, they got the tiny homes community on the north side of the street with a common hall, and then the south side is the food bank. The food bank's open to not only veterans, but their families, so if somebody's on active service, family members of those in active service, widows and such, basically everyone affiliated with veterans has the ability to utilize it. Beyond that, then we will resume Salmon and Marama committee meeting on December 2nd. Jim has got some of the sponsorship ask letters. Again, get it out now, get it out early. We're looking for donated items, but also, you know, if you see outstanding deals that are for sale, drop Jim a line too. You know, sometimes we find amazing deals where we can buy stuff, whether it be for the kids pond, for some of the raffles. You know, we have a budget allocated for him to pick up supplies, fishing gear, outdoor stuff, all sorts of things. We were able to score a deal on Nerf guns recently where we got like 72 Nerf guns that were like $25 or $30 a Nerf gun for $3 a piece, brand new. They're a pallet of them that Jim and I went and picked up for the event. So we're always looking for discounts or deals that help us out with making the event special. And for November's meeting thus far, we've got Brian Hayden from the GLSF coming down, and December, I think, are we still talking to?
Trying to get Arnie.
Yeah, Arnie and the Wisconsin Lakeshore Business Association as our guest speakers. That is everything I have, unless others have questions, needs, announcements, or want to buy some gear.
I have shirts, if anybody wants Salmon Unlimited shirts.
Oh,
Where is the weird?
Lincoln Park. Are you serious?
Never meet.
Right across, you know where the Lutheran Hall is?
Yeah, if you look up Lincoln Park,
Ball diamonds.
Notions are all the same.
yeah,
We're at the sprays.
yeah.
Just follow the Chicago.
West of the.
Sir, honestly, he's not joking. That park will be 75% Illinois plates. So, what's, yeah, he's not kidding. He's not inaccurate in that comment. So,
2,200 Dominic Price.
Come in on how we see.
I'll come in for.
Get off on 20 and then.
here, I'll leave you guys with a little outgoing video of underwater drone from Kenosha.
Sell stuff.
Yeah, go for it now.
Friday.
Hey, thanks for coming down. Yep.
Like a dumbass, I was at my boat, I left here at 3 o'clock, I got home about 4:10. I'm blowing up. Come up here.
Let's see.
It's not from here, man.
They do it. Let them get old. They'll get big and they're like, hey, ball, they go like a soccer ball. That's what it'll take. So what, depends on if there's gonna be rain or yeah, I just got up in the tree, I was up in the stand, I was like, looking around, I was like, they don't got money to kind of line people. I know.
Let's take a look at the. What's the stopper?
Oh, guys, stuff like that.
No.
Hey, you find anything? I know 90% of them. Cut it, and peel white, and then it'll turn purple. Then like, then it's, yeah, really cool. You're fine. That's right. It's all good. Could probably recommend that because,
If anyone interested in the beer at all, just.
I'm not sure if this is me.
So, when I shot mine for 8 or 9 years ago, I think it was like 19. And it just. I found this out, like. I don't know what I was. It's not nothing. I don't know. Hey, is that what's what would you do with a couple years? I haven't seen They probably was calling that. Yeah, I just found that out in the bed. That sounds
It's funny, I was thinking through something, and it's like, right.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Lauren, run.
It's music for that.
Oh, it's music on there. I thought it was someone's ringer.
No, that was.
It's in Pets and. Huh?
Techno Brian's.
So this guy's pretty cool. He's got an underwater drone. And this is Kenosha Harbor. He's just going around the Browns in Kenosha Harbor. But he's also got videos of Lake Geneva. He dropped it down now for like walleye and fish and bass. There's a shipwreck down there of an old like steamboat. And he went down to that. We had a video earlier before the meeting started where he was doing the shipwreck in Scotland here in Lake Michigan. So, yeah, I just.
Any fish around the pool? Is there any fish?
Yeah, that's what he, on these videos, most.
No, I meant around the wreck. So
Yeah, that's what most of these people going down looking at like structure and for in the fishing. But this is just in Ocean Harbor behind the hotel. I want one. If anybody wants to, I'm gonna want to do All right, Dale, I'm gonna end this thing.